Hello, Sayaka. I'm standing outside a thrift store a few blocks from my house. The left side is called Unique. The right side is Value Village. And I got separated from Sephora, so I can't find her. And this is the kind of thing I call alternate realities. Whereas I can look through that store, she's not there. I can look all around in that store, she's not there, so where is she? She'll eventually surface. But I'm telling you, when I lose her this way, I'm saying it's due to alternate realities. And I'm convinced that this is true. Now, okay, so one of the things I've done to bring her back to my realities, I take my prayer book out and start reading a prayer. And that brings her back every time. I don't have my prayer book with me. So I'll show you the things I bought in there. I bought a few hats. Because I can customize these hats. Now, I got 4 hats. And 2 are real nice buys. Here's one here. Look at this. Milano, Italia. It's written in Italian, right? That's nice. Good quality fabric there, and it's got the nice closure in the back. This hat I got is at a Walmart hat. $4.47, I think. Very nice hat, but doesn't have that nice closure in the back. This one, it doesn't have that. Okay. Now I got this hat also. Red. Doesn't have much of a beak or whatever you call that. This one $2.99. The red is good, and it's got the good closure in the back. The red is good because red is one of the colors of Italy, so I can do a lot of things with this hat. Now I got 2 other hats. This one here is a little yellow, but wash this and it'll be fine. $3.49. It's a white hat. Nice closure in the back. Here it is. Very fancy, nice closure. This one is easily made into a kippa. So I take the beak off. What do they call that? I forget. Take that off and I got a nice white kippa. And I can decorate it any way I want. Okay, and I got one more hat here. This one here, Beijing, China. Now, this is a quality hat. It's the cheapest one. $1.49. Yeah. It says Beijing 2016. Now, look at how nicely made this thing is. Look at that. So, this is real good quality material. This is an expensive hat. For $1.49, I don't know why it's so low a price, but anyway, is Beijing what used to be called Peking? I ought to know, but I'm just showing my ignorance here. When I was coming up through the education system, I think the idea was you shouldn't be afraid to show that you don't know something, right? You're not supposed to be parading around like Mr. Know-It-All. So if you don't know something, there's no shame in admitting it, okay? You don't have to be a polymath. One of these people going to show up on that, what they call the white supremacist show, Jeopardy, right? Isn't that what it's called? They answering questions about history, grammar, and popular culture and stuff. No. I figure you ought to be honest about what you know and don't know. Because in my opinion, intelligence is not the ability to memorize this kind of information. This is not a sign of intelligence. Although it's mistaken for intelligence. It is, and it's not. So you don't know certain facts like my wife. She knows about the amount of history that a first or second grader in the United States might know. If she knows that much, does that make her unintelligent? No, she's a very smart woman. Okay, and people are going to realize this more now that we have these artificial intelligence sources of information, right? We don't got to remember when the Battle of Hastings was. Okay, we don't got to remember stuff like that. We need to show our true intelligence. It's not the ability to memorize and parrot back facts that authority figures require that we remember. We don't need to do that. So people are going to realize that what I'm saying is true. Okay, so my wife hasn't shown up yet. I don't know where she is. I can't imagine she's that interested in what she's seeing in there. So what I'm saying is, these alternate realities, they're also in alternate frames of time. Like, an hour might go by in my reality here, and a minute in hers. Okay? That's the difference. So, when I get lost in space this way, I can be, I'm like in a hole in reality, and I'm waiting around forever. Okay, this is not just true with me and my wife. It's true in me and the society as well. You can get lost in a hole like this. Things are going on in everybody's life, but in yours, you're down in a hole. I can't explain it any better. I've noticed that this is true, so I don't have a prayer book to bring my wife back. I can go back in there. I gotta say, I'm already looked on as kind of a weirdo, so I go walking back in there. I'm gonna attract all kinds of suspicion. You know what I mean? So I'm hesitant to go back in and go looking up and down the aisles for her. I don't see how else to get her back into my reality right now. I just don't. I'm temporarily lost in a hole. Well, let me close this off. Right now it's about 1:35 p.m. on a Friday, the 10th of April, 2026. Okay, I couldn't find Sephora, so I'm starting to walk home. I can't find her, and I don't have her phone number. I'm not sure of her email, and she doesn't even want to be contacted that way. She gets all upset. She says that the hacker is going to come in on that somehow. So I'm walking home. Now, I got to say that for 99% of the world, or more, actually 99.9999, there's never going to be a relationship between me and you, okay? However, that same world declared me to be a certified schizophrenic and wrecked my life with lies. It nearly murdered me and so on. Okay, so I'm going to believe what this world says about you. No, I'm not. So, if you are the one for me and for my family, you're going to be as odd a person as I am. Otherwise, we wouldn't be drawn toward each other. So, that's why I've held out for you. Because I'm not going to listen to this world that tells me it's been 3 years and 5 months. Forget it, man. This woman's lying or deceiving you, or she doesn't even know you exist. I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to that because this world that I've been in is just all lies. It's all lies, and it's predominantly an evil place as far as I'm concerned. What it is for others, I can't say. So that's where I stand. I'm saying that from what I've seen of you, and what the world has taught me about my perceptions, that they're accurate, and my judgment, that it's good. I'm saying that you are somebody who were reaching out to me because you are as odd a person in the world as I am, and as unbelievable as it may seem, you are probably as trapped in a life you don't want to be in as I am. And that's why you reached out to me the way you did. 99.99999% of the world would not try to meet somebody the way you did. Okay? So that alone tells me that you're like me. That most ways of meeting someone have been closed to you, or they haven't worked for whatever reason. I've told you, if you've been able to see my videos, why I've been closed off from others. I tried to explain how that's happened to me, and when we get together, you'll be able to tell me or show me how that's also happened to you. So, that's where I stand on all that. I'm not giving up on you. I'm just not. You're telling the truth, and if you've not gotten together with me, you've got a damn good reason. And I'm gonna stay on this until I figure out how I can get to you, or just holding on, you're able to get to me. Well, that's where I stand. Today's Friday, 10th of April, 2026, and right now it's about 12 minutes before 2 p.m. This is, what's the name of this road? Powder Mill Road. There's a sign if you can see it. And it's the dividing line between Montgomery County and Prince George's County. Montgomery County's over there. Prince George's County is over here. On the right. My mother's from Prince George's County. And that's where the University of Maryland's located. To the right. About 5 minutes away. wife was home. She came home. So I just got here. She's already here. She told me she went to the food store. She didn't tell me she was going to do that. I stayed in the thrift store, and she got lost in me. Well, apparently she said she couldn't find me in there. Alternate realities, and she went to the food store. I wasn't going to find her after she did that, and I came home, and here she is. Okay, Sayaka, here are the 4 hats I bought. Altogether, this cost me $14.15. That's quite a good deal, okay? For 4 nice hats like this, and these got nice closures in the back. See that? All of them do. Real nice. And this is the alpha find of the group. This is going to make a nice white kippa. Beijing is where the tanks were rolling over protesters, right? A while back. Well, I don't like that happened, okay? But things like that have happened in the United States. They really have. Okay, now I'm going to go boil my hats. Okay, Sayaka, I'm starting to boil our hats. Now, I said I don't want to be in the work world, right? And I don't. But let's say you're saying, hey, AJ, I'm only 40 years old. I got to be in the work world. And you went to the work world to get the retirement you were my age. So I'm like you when you got married, and I got to work. So here's what I say to that. Let's say you are like an entrepreneur and you want to make a business out of making hats or something, or T-shirts, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'll work for you, okay? I'll be your employee. Like I said, I was going to be your assistant over there in your country. I was serious. I would have been your assistant, collecting data for you and recording data. I would have done that. And I'll still do it. We have the tornado lab. I'll be your assistant. You run things and tell me what to do. Let's study tornadoes together. So anyway, I'll work for you, but I'm not going to work for somebody else, okay? Because working for you, that's a different story, okay? So we're going to boil our hats here. And the hats, boiling point of water, and I haven't looked this up since high school. I think it's 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So somewhere I saw that you can kill lice at a temperature below 200 degrees. So, I figured boiling water does it, and it has. I haven't caught lice a single time since I've been boiling my hats. So, let's boil these hats. Would you like one of them? You gotta answer me. You gotta answer me if you want one of these hats. If you want me to make it a custom hat, you gotta answer. Otherwise, you're not going to get a hat. I was saying in a note last night that when you want something, the world doesn't want to give it to you. Okay, here's a principle in nature which illustrates that. I'm kind of scared to talk because my wife is mad at me whenever I'm talking in here. Okay, you ever hear the saying, do not watch the pot boil? Because somehow you're watching that pot and it's not going to boil if you watch it, right? Well, there's an illustration of the principle. You want the pot to boil, but if you're there looking at it, it's not going to boil for you. There's the principle illustrated in a law of nature, so to speak. What you want, nature doesn't want to give you. Well, we already know that's true, don't we? I mean, if you read Northrop Frye, what does he say? He says, what we want as human beings, it's not nature. We want a garden, which is what? What we turn nature into for our benefit, okay? So you hear one of these gurus saying, be like nature, right? In nature, everything does things the easy way. Water runs downhill, right? Yeah, but what if we want water on the second floor of our house? We're gonna say, oh, let's build our house differently. We say we want a second floor. We're gonna have the water go upstream. We're gonna make things the way we want them in nature, not the way they are. Why shouldn't I continue, okay? Nature travels to outer space in rocket ships? No, it don't. Excuse my illiterate working man style talk now. When I got my MA, you would have never heard me talk this way. Every sentence grammatically perfect. Like I'm writing a scholarly book when I talked. No more, okay? I found that doesn't work for me. But anyway, nature's sending rocket ships to the moon? No, it's not. We're doing that. Okay, there's our first two ads boiling. Okay, and we got 20 minutes to kill here. Here's the time in Tokyo. 3:16 a.m. in Tokyo on a Saturday. So we got 20 more minutes till 36 minutes after the hour. Gotta keep it boiling. I got the stove on low. It's still boiling, the water's still boiling, but let me turn it up a little. It was starting to boil over, so I turned it down. Okay, while I'm waiting, I think I'll have a hot dog. I'm kind of hungry. Hot dogs are my main snack. My wife telling me all the time that they're extremely unhealthy. Well, to that I say, I'm not going to argue. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So far, so good, that's all. They're doing a good job of satisfying my hunger when I get hungry, and they're easy to do. As I said before, when I was working in the back room at Walden Bookstore, one of the songs I heard that I never forgot was a blues song where a black woman was singing like this. She was saying, I need a hot dog for my road. I want it hot. I don't want it cold. And then this black man chimed in. These are hot dogs. They're never cold. I never forgot that. That was the song I heard while I was pricing books in the back of Walden Bookstore at night. In the back, it was really, my back room was like a back hallway with books all the way down, and I'd be back there writing the price of the book, $2, next book, $2, next book, like that. Here's another song I heard. It was a gay song, but I never forgot it. It went like this. Trash, pick it up, don't throw my love away. Trash, pick it up. Don't throw my love away, oh trash. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, trash, pick it up. I never forgot that. Now, I'm not queer and I don't want to be one, and it's just one song that I remember, but I also remember the other one. And they go again, I need a hot dog for my road. I want it hot. I don't want it cold. You have a hot dog, never cold. When I was just starting at Walden Books, there was an Italian guy who became a professional writer. Very successful, too. I'm not going to say his name, but I followed him for years. I read as many books as I could that he wrote. I wasn't really a fan of his writing, but I did like the guy. So here's one of the things. When before he quit, he was leaving at the time I was starting. He was giving me advice about the professors at the University of Maryland in the English department. Because he majored in English, actually creative writing. So he's telling me about the teachers. And here's one thing about one of the teachers that I remember that he said. Okay, he said, okay, there's this other, he tells the professor, Professor so-and-so, he says, he's a good swish. That means he's a good gay guy. He's a good swish, he's telling me. I just remember that, that's all. Now, more along that lines, I was taking Italian, right? And at the University of Maryland, I was taking Italian classes beginning of sophomore year. And we were sitting outside the room before class started on the floor. And we're waiting for the door to open, we could go in. And sitting next to me on the left was kind of a sexy Italian girl. This way. I'm sorry, that's all. Anyway, she put her leg up against mine. Now, this was definitely sexy. However, she was bringing her boyfriend to class with her. So I was thinking, why is she doing this? She's got a boyfriend there in class with her. Why is she doing this? Well, anyway, as she's doing that, you know what she says to me? She says, she happened, I don't know, I'm an English major, and I was telling her maybe I was in, and I had Chaucer with Dr. Steinberg. And she says to me, oh, him, huh? And she says, yeah, he likes boys. Yeah, I heard he likes boys. And I'm thinking, he likes boys? Weird. Okay, well, I told you about Dr. Steinberg. I saw him, but the last time I went into the English office after I got my master's, he was there in the office. He had not got tenure at the University of Maryland, so I guess he was out of a job, and he was maybe looking for a job at GW. Anyway, he's talking to me, and I was trying to be friendly, so I said something like, there was a guy named Dewey who was in the education arguments of English teachings. Maybe he's the Dewey Decimal System, I don't know. But I think he wrote an essay on doing what one likes or something. And I mentioned that. Now, I don't remember. And here's what his response was. I'm not going to say the words, because it was profanity filled. But he said, well, let me tell you, if you read the diary of one of those Puritans up there in New England, he was saying in his diary, I rogered my wife lustily this morning. So you figure out what that means, all right? Each day would start out, I rogered my wife lustily this morning. Forget his name. Anyway, so this guy, he says he's in the midst of, I don't know, it comes out of the blue, he says to me, and I'm gonna roger the Pentagon right up the Pentagon. I'm gonna roger the Pentagon. I was in shock hearing it from this guy. This had been my very magisterial Chaucer teacher who knew Middle English, and he knew how to read Chaucer unbelievably. Middle English is like another language, and this guy was fluent in it. He was very impressive, and I made an A. I made an A in that class, and so it was shocking for me to hear him talk this way. As you can see, our hats are still nicely boiling in the pot. The other day I was in Walmart, and I thought I was buying the cheap potato rolls that I always buy, the cheap potato hot dog rolls. When I got home, I bought these expensive Pepperidge Farm rolls. And I gotta say, they are really tasty compared to the potato rolls. And it's like Hershey's, right? I was buying the cheap imitation chocolate sauce to mix with milk. And wasn't strong, so you had to use a lot of it. So finally, I went back to buying a Hershey's. And Hershey's is quality, man. 1 spoon of Hershey's equals like 3 spoons of that other stuff. So you're not saving any money by buying the cheap stuff. And I may start buying these quality rolls for my hot dogs because they taste much better and they're not stale. A lot of times those potato rolls are stale. Così. Questo è meglio. È migliore per la sauce cioccolato. Salute. This Landon jacket was my first piece of custom clothing. I bought this jacket at a thrift store 1 block from where I was born. I put the letters on the back. Landon's colors were not maroon, brown and white, but he didn't have a brown and white jacket, so I took this one. Now, I put this Guatemala thing in that I bought at a store down in Union Station. It's now gone. The reason I did that is like a kind of scathing type of anger of mine, because this Hispanic woman from this country told lies about me that nearly got me killed. So in my Landon jacket, I'm remembering her this way. Okay, so I put these things on here. I got this at the school store. These I put together myself. Numbers from Walmart. This from the school store. School store, virtute e non vi, means by virtue, not vice. That's the school's motto. So here's my jacket. First piece of custom clothing that I made. Did I say virtute e non vi? I think that did I say by virtue, not vice? I was supposed to say by virtue, not force. I hope I said that right. Okay, I got our final 2 hats in the pot here. 20 more minutes will make this ready, and it's about 4 minutes before, what is it, 3? Yeah, 4 minutes before 3. Next hats will be ready. Spoke prematurely. Our water was not boiling. It's now boiling, so it's now 41 after the hour of 3 a.m. in Tokyo. In about roughly 4 a.m., these hats are going to be ready. My 2 final hats. I got my nice Milano hat in there. That's the alpha hat. So your brain is highly intelligent, okay? Now, you show me that by not only your ability to remember all these facts, okay, more than the average person can, but the way you present your information, your intonation, your delivery, the emotional weight you give to all the different kind of things you're saying shows immense intelligence. You have a knowledge of the places you're talking about, no matter where they are in the world, and you know the differences. And this knowledge you have comes out in the way you say the words, and any advice you're giving is like also weighted with wisdom, so that if you say stay safe, or you say no, it's very hot out there, so be careful of heat stroke. Okay, the way you're saying that is like you actually care. You actually care for a person. The boss didn't tell you, look, make sure you mention heat stroke. That's not what you're doing. That's what I'm saying. Down to the smallest detail, you're showing intelligence, okay? Which is, like I'm saying, it's not just the facts you remember, but the way you're remembering them and the way you're imparting the knowledge to others. Okay, we're halfway through on our hats, and you're coming along nicely. So since I got time and I need to fill up the time, you know, I got an active mind. I like to be doing things. So you notice in these porno movies that the way they work things, okay, they do their turkey prep first. They prep the turkey, all right? The turkey is the woman, okay? So you're going to prep that turkey and do all the right things so that then they can have what they want. The men do. This is the way these things go, I've noticed. They do a full turkey prep till the juices run clear. And then they go about what they need, okay? Now, what I'm saying is, that is not what women want. They're not turkeys to get turkey prepped, okay? So, I'm sure a lot of women would say, look, I'll prefer the closeness to be prepared like a turkey by these men who are going to be like, oh, we know it all about how to do you. We're going to do you good. We read all about the clitoris and so on. And we know what we got to do to get the juices running clear. No, a lot of women would say, look, I'll take the closeness. Bye. So, I just want to say that successful sex, although I'm no guru on this, and I didn't even know I'd be saying these things, does not depend on technology, technique. It doesn't. And the survival of the species has shown that the woman is going to put up with closeness if need be. So, you know, okay, so I'm asking myself, if we're going to be the first successful couple in the history of the world at what we might call true love, and be the first ones, is that going to include satisfaction for you in this thing when we're doing the wrestling part of our relationship, okay? When we're wrestling in bed. Are you going to have to, you know, are we going to need simultaneous climaxes, this kind of thing? I don't think so. But, you know, I haven't been there. I haven't even been close, so I guess you could say with the old woman I was. We were very synchronized in bed. But I got to say, for me, it was, you almost say it was closeness. It wasn't my, I don't mean any disrespect, okay? I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? I think I made my point, so anyway, let me stop. Anyway, what I've read is one inhibition to women enjoying the wrestling part of the relationship, the dude wrestling, as in the D.H. Lawrence novel. I think he's talking about he wrestled another man, nude. But in our case, we're going to talk about a man and a woman metaphorically wrestling nude. And that's not what we mean, right? So, I forgot what I was going to say. Let me put this on pause. Oh yeah, I read that a lot of like young women are so worried about so many things, money, status, the future of children. You know, are we going to have them? Do we have some already? Are we going to have more? You know, they're worrying, okay? And this interferes with their ability to enjoy new wrestling. We're going to go on, okay? So, as I'm talking, I'm saying to myself, you know what? That's a lame excuse for people not understanding the problem here about the position of that. We're going to call it the Woman's Washington Monument. In the miniature, the Woman's Miniature Washington Monument. Now, if we were to proceed in such a way that we can understand how to get that working for us right, maybe we find a solution to this. I don't know. Okay, it's 4:01 a.m. in Tokyo. Our hats are done. One of the 4 hats I got soaking in some, what's that stuff called? Oxy. Stain remover. It's got a stain on it, a couple stains on it. So these hats I'm going to put in the back porch in the sun to dry. Because the sun is warm and it's better for the hat actually than the dryer heat. I noticed that dryer is not the best solution for drying a hat. So we got a chair here, keep it off the ground. And we'll put our hats right here in the sun. And let them dry.